It's America's anytime taste treat. Finest ice cream, finest chocolate. It's...
You know, you would have thought I'd gotten over the exhaustion of nearly losing another Nuzlocke. You would have thought. But then again, I suppose that is what the weekends are for. Letting go. Letting bygones be bygones. That Pat Rat got what it got. In a new way, it got what it got. Anyway. Greetings and felicitations, assorted children of the internet. It is I, once again, the Logician, here to... well, if not entertain or educate, then at least, I suppose, find a way for you to kill some time this Saturday / Sunday / whatever frame of time and space you may be experiencing at this particular moment. But I digress. We're going to be bringing things back to basics for this stream, and hopefully for the better, because we're going to be delving into yet another aspect of my childhood that not everyone may have experienced, although this might be at least a smidge more well-known than Chameleon Twist. We're gonna be delving into Spyro the Dragon, specifically the original PS1 game for it. Back before memes involving Subway all but ruined the IP. In any event, I think I've done enough stalling at this point, but actually, before we move on to that, I just want to take a moment to thank all of you who have donated any and all fan art to me thus far. It might be just a trivial thing to most of you, but the fact that there are those of you who feel the need to provide fan art for me, it genuinely does mean a lot. And if any of you ever feel so inclined, feel free to either @ me on Twitter with any art you've made, or just DM me if you know me personally. You know, I really need to learn how to stop feeling like an absolute garbage fire whenever I advertise myself like this, but I suppose that is in fact part and parcel with the whole streamer game. But anyway, like I said, enough delaying the inevitable. I think it's about time we got this proverbial party started. So let me go ahead and, through the magic of the internet, send you back in time to the late 90s. Yeah, never mind the icon in the corner there. This is, of course, a genuine PS1 game. What are you talking about? Now, if you could, please let me know if you can hear the game. It would mean a lot to me, because, once again, I'm still trying to figure out this whole OBS system myself. All the music and sound effects coming through all right? A smidge loud? Alright, let me go ahead and adjust that. Let's see here. How is that sounding? Well, I suppose we're at the point now where it'll be fairly difficult until we see the demo footage. Much better? Okay, good to know. Like I said, I imagine many of you have probably got ruptured eardrums listening to me rant and rave about my own abnormal experiences throughout time and space without you having them damaged further still by an additional 1,000,005 decibels from the early PS1 hit. So, once again, let us not delay the inevitable and get into this fascinating fustercluck of a game. Get ready for some cinema, folks. In the world of dragons.
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age. We now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Gnork character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature. Simple! He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. That does it!
Looks like I've got some things to do.
And no, you are not mistaken. That is, in fact, Tom Kenny playing Spyro, the voice of Ice King, SpongeBob, and many others. In fact, they had him revise his role in the remakes of this trilogy. Yes, this is a trilogy. Oh, gosh.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Cryptic. Well, there we go. Now, let me see here. I wish I could recall how to move the camera, but, oh, so that's fire. That's rush. By the way, they had an interesting way of handling the health in this game. You see this dragonfly next to me? The color of the dragonfly actually signifies how much health I have. If it gets down to a specific color, then I am probably fairly close to losing a life. Oh. Now let me see. And additionally, you can gain additional health by killing certain types of animals, turning them into butterflies, and having Sparks the Dragonfly eat them. I wasn't on the writing team for this, I'm just stating facts here. Okay. Well, Spark seems to be all full up at the moment. Ah, dang it. Now, I believe there's actually an additional true ending to this game if you catch every single piece of treasure. Oh yeah, I forgot. Spyro can't swim, so you have to be very careful around water.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing?
Well, here you go.
His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
You know, I suppose it is a trope of high fantasy to have dragons and other mythical creatures speak in cryptic clues. Let me see here. Now, let me see here. Now I know there's a way to get enough momentum when you're charging. I'll figure it out. Ah, my word. The balloonist is over there. Good to remember. That's right. This was how I did the camera. Okay, that's immensely helpful. And that's an extra life. There we go. Yes, that is correct, Absoleth. We are playing Spyro the Dragon, the original. Ah, yes. So, these are portals to other levels. Throughout the course of the game, you will be transferred, or transported rather, by the balloonist as you progress to a number of different hub worlds. This is simply the first one, and it has the first two main levels you can go to. Let's see if I can... Dang. That's the drawback of the charge, by the way. Like, there's not too terribly much... Oh, dang it. I'm sure I'll get it in time. Wait, there's drawbacks to each little ability you have. I believe you get some of those powered up over the course of the game, but, yeah. Ah, yes. This, I believe, is basically where you unlock the first major boss of this hub world. After you get all the gems or unlock all the dragons in the other worlds, this giant mouth opens up. Interesting, so this was a birthday game for you. I mean, yeah, this definitely had a lot of nostalgia for me. See, the funny thing is, growing up, I generally wasn't the biggest fan of 3D platformers. Spyro was one of the few exceptions. I was never that big on Mario 64. I think pretty much the only reason I enjoyed Spyro as much as I did was, or at least the reason I got into it initially, I was one of those kids who was massively into dragons and mythical creatures in general. I mean, makes sense. Later on, I would go on to be known as Griffin, so I suppose that was... I hesitate to use the word fate, because that always rubs me the wrong way, but I suppose there were some signs along the way.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the dragon mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
Okay, there we go. Hero's Tale. I believe that was the attempt at a reboot for the series, where Spyro was actually voiced by Elijah Wood, if I'm not mistaken. It was an interesting series, what little I can remember of it. Ah, nearly had it. I mean, you know you've got potential for greatness when you've got Elijah Wood involved in something. Ah, dang it. Speaking of, I believe we just recently had the anniversary of Over the Garden Wall, in which Elijah Wood voiced one of the primary characters, if I am not mistaken. That is absolutely one of those definitive October series, at least as far as I'm personally concerned. There we are. My word. Alright, now I think that takes care of all the treasure in this hub world. Let's see. Something going on in October that Aardman Studios is involved with. I believe I remember hearing about that, Absoluth, yes. Alright. Oh man, this music. Alright, now, you may notice that some of these Norks, who are sort of stand-ins for orcs, they have metal shields, and that basically makes them immune to your fire breath. In those cases, you have to launch yourself at them. I believe, as the children say, put your entire pussy into it. Could I have phrased that literally any other way? Mayhaps, but once again, I am attempting to remain relevant and hip with the youths. Alright, now let me see here. Your Spyro, yes, absolutely. Did I mention that this is an 18+ stream? Or at the very least, not appropriate for children. I believe I may need a key for this, but never hurts to experiment. Alright, yeah, I think I'm definitely going to. Now, this guy, he's gonna wind up. There we are. There we are. Alright, so notice I took a hit there, and Sparks is now a blue dragonfly. That's going to necessitate me picking up one of those bullfrogs over there. First,
Oh, it's you! I wasn't sure if you'd escape those annoying little creatures. Of course, they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
you know, I'm not sure why I bother explaining anything at this point, considering this game has been doing a sufficient job of that. There we are. That's just it. It seems like a good amount of games from this era had no qualms with breaking the proverbial fourth wall and just explaining these base mechanics to you. And to an extent, I can understand why that might put off a number of people. You can't understand without subtitles. Unfortunately, I don't think subtitles are an option. Sound effects, speaker. Yeah, no, unfortunately. I can potentially turn the volume up. There you go. Yeah, there weren't really many options for the hearing impaired in most games back in the day, unfortunately. Volume-wise, though, Silver, do you think it's at a reasonable level? Okay, no, you're valid. But if you feel like you would like me to turn the volume up just a smidge, feel free to let me know. Right. Now. There we go. Let's stay out of this guy's reach here. There we go. Right. I believe lighting fires grants you access to certain things, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, this was also like in a time before they'd figured out consistent music looping with games. Yeah, let's let it drag on a bit. I'm sure it'll be fine. There we are. You can never have too many lives, especially not in these games. You know, I know there are giant Norks and horrific abominations, affronts to nature surrounding us, but I do find this atmosphere and music strangely calming. Once again, I believe it's just one of those inherent qualities of nostalgia.
Big enemies like this Gnorc with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
Hi, Clancy Brown. I'm relatively certain that was Clancy Brown. I could be mistaken. For the uninitiated, Clancy Brown was the voice of such characters as Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob, Lex Luthor from Superman the Animated Series, and a number of others. There. Now let's see here. Yes. I mean, God forbid you'd think little of the Spyro spiral. Let's see if I can- 58. This was also a time, if I recall, before they had at least established a trend of establishing how many of a particular collectible you needed to obtain in every world. They just sort of left it up to you to explore on your own terms. That's right, and everyone down here. So not even like a so many out of so many situation. Oh, that's right. These ones you had to sneak up on. There you go. Thankfully, the fire has a pretty good reach. Alright, let's see. Ah, there's the key. I cannot tell you how many times as a child I would have overlooked these things. Because as a child I had that instinct because I was so used to linear 2D platformers that whenever I saw the exit to a level, I instinctively thought, oh, the video game is over, at least for this part of it. I need to go right there immediately. Exploration was not exactly... Oh, well. Like I said, dragons apparently cannot swim. Exploration was not my forte when it came to video games. Oh my word. Well. This is showing how green I am at this point. And no, I did not mean for that to be a pun. Oh, come on. Any worse than this and I'll start feeling like a games journalist.
Psst, Spyro, want to know a secret? Use the triangle button when you want to zoom in and look around. Oh, your secret's safe with me.
I believe that was also Tom Kenny, if I'm not mistaken. Elevators in games are usually just shaky rooms to load the next area. True. I mean, it was a convenient way to handle it, honestly. Now, I am definitely on low health, but I should be able to pick up a bullfrog or two on the way back. Because I do want to see if I can't get into that chest. There we are. There we are. Back to full. Oh, my word. Alright. You can use a cheat code to make yourself green. I'm sure I could at that. It'd just be a matter of figuring out how to make that work here. Alright, there we go. 100 out of 100. Oh, that's right. They gave him an idle animation of grooming himself like a cat. I'm sure this didn't awaken anything in a number of future furries down the line. That out of the way. There we are. Now, I'm trying to remember whether or not there was an additional... There we are. Pretty sure there was something I could access over here. I absolutely hear it. I think that might be an additional door that can be unlocked later. Devs, I just don't think thought to. Ah, yes, the pearls that you can pick up once you've collected all the treasure that would normally be in a certain area. Let me pick off a sheep or two before I go. original didn't have the color changes? Yeah, I don't think it did. I believe things like Big Head mode and the like were unlocked with the remakes of the trilogy. Alright. I suppose that raises another potential question. To any of you listening in, if you could choose one game or game series from your childhood to get a remake, what would it be and why? I've noticed that there have been a number of series that I didn't expect to ever get touched again. One of them, of course, being Spyro, another being Crash Bandicoot. I heard somewhere around here. There we are. Let's see. Year the Dragon had them. That's also possible. Dark Cloud. I remember hearing a number of people over the years asking for some returns to Dark Cloud.
After you freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
Why do I get the feeling this is what I sound like to most other people? See, the tricky thing about eliminative materialism in the school of psychology and existentialist philosophy is that it really tosses out the concept of free will when it comes to the human condition. Final Fantasy IX? I could potentially see that. Admittedly, I don't know nearly enough about Final Fantasy IX. Oh my god. Welcome to one of the most irritating parts of this entire franchise. Where are you? I can hear you. I know you're here, you son of a bitch. I'm sure he'll turn up at some point. Just need to find you. Oh, I forgot I could do this. Oh, the more you know. That's a good thing I did that. You know, you can't help but feel sorry for these shepherds and rams. They're just doing the job. Push comes to shove, you're basically playing the wolf from those old Looney Tunes cartoons about the sheepdog and the wolf. You know those ones, right? I'm sure you do. I'm clearly not just screaming into the void of eternity as everything I once held dear in my youth slips away into obscurity.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
I believe that was also Clancy Brown. Yes. Something you may have noticed about me by now is I tend to comment a lot on voice actors I recognize. Get used to that because it's not stopping anytime soon. Now, let me see. Ah, yes. I believe Sparks actually helps you pick up these gems when they're just relatively close to you. You know, there we are. There you are, you fucker. There we go. That is the egg thief. So, in addition to rescuing the older dragons in this series, every now and then you'll find the egg thief, who carries around, as you can probably guess, a dragon egg. I forgot that's how they handled the borders of the map. So, when you see him, you have to chase him down, and he is a slippery son of a bitch. Now, let me see. There's got to be something around here. That voice was delving damn close to, we've got to have money.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
You know, when it gets down to it, this first level is just Spyro running around saving his gay dads. I mentioned it earlier, but this is the artisan world. These are basically the dragons that have nothing else to do but sculpt, paint, wax philosophical. And they make this even more explicit in the remakes when they start putting them in overalls and artist caps and basically giving every single dragon you rescue the Tumblr treatment. Affectionate. I hate that I have to qualify statements like that in that way. Just bothers me on so many levels. Ah, my word. And, mods, if you would be so kind as to take care of that, pesky little gnat in the comments, that would be much appreciated. You, for one, welcome our Dragon Tumbler treatment. I mean, I am not complaining, necessarily. I'm just saying it was an artistic approach I did not expect. Thank you, Gaelic. Much appreciated. Upon retrospect, I feel that the way I phrase that's like, oh yes, mods, if you could take care of that nasty retrobate in the... Dear God, I need to get over myself. Alright, now let me check around this area. I appreciate at the very least that the way they sort of help to visualize the edges of the map is with these stones. I mean, these could easily be rune stones or any other sort of high fantasy explanation. It's just that the very sci-fi Cartoon Network sound effect of it gets me every time. Oh, well, there's some more treasures. Now, will this... Oh, 151. Interesting. Looks like I've still got some exploring to do. Ah, my goodness. Interesting. Is that a well? There we are.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
Let's see here. Wasn't there... Ah. I see. So I still need to find a key. Well, let's at least save. Does in fact sound like a Homestuck username. Apologies, Lorelei, I did not see you earlier. Elbows deep in cookie batter. You know, goals, as the children say. I don't think I've done any significant baking in a long, long time. I should really get back into it now that it's autumn. And it could not have gotten here soon enough. Oh, my word. I suppose that raises yet another question. Are you sensing a theme here? What is a particular food that you feel defines the autumnal months of the year? Something that just screams coziness and not even necessarily a begin to the holiday season, but just something that makes you feel nice at home and comforted. Apple pie is an excellent answer. How did I miss you? 158. You take your role as party mom for D&D campaigns very seriously. Always bring fresh baking. I doubt anyone is going to complain. If there's one thing nerds appreciate, it's fresh baked goods. Spiced pumpkin cupcakes. Mashed potatoes and tipsy sweets. Excellent choice. I have had a great deal of fun helping you make those, by the way. Now, any... Oh, well, there we are. Probably getting close to polishing things up here. No pun intended. And... 166. Now I know that key has got to be around here somewhere. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the way my sibling makes mashed potatoes that just... There's no substitution for them. I feel like there's that one family member in every family that just... There's a specific way they make a specific food that even if you know the recipe inside and out, there's something specifically about the way they make it in particular that makes it unmistakably theirs. Mulled wine and spiced cider. Excellent. I'm not sure I've ever had mulled wine. I remember first hearing about it from a friend in Montreal, Quebec. Actually, I believe they were living in Ottawa at the time, and they described it to me. And I've never been much of a wine person. I tend to be especially sensitive towards bitter tastes. Yes, I am one of those soapy cilantro people that you keep hearing about. So I'm not sure if I would enjoy it all that much, but I do enjoy cider, and something I remember at least trying once before at a Ren Fair was mead. All in all, I'm not much of an alcohol person. A couple exceptions being maybe a nice plum wine, some white ice wine, and maybe a dark cherry or a black cherry Mike's Hard Lemonade. I keep saying not an alcohol guy, but then I start to go down an entire list of exceptions. I mean, just how many more exceptions do I need before I start to sound like Fraser Crane? I was recently feeling nostalgic about Frasier the other day when I was explaining it to a person who'd never seen it. And as much as I enjoyed it, there were a lot of elements to it. Not only from the aspect of, oh, this hasn't aged well because, you know, not enough knowledge about things like sexuality and gender identity and things like that, but also just from the DSM standpoint, which for those of you who don't know, the DSM is essentially the Junior Woodchuck's guidebook to psychological diagnoses. And they update that rather frequently, to the point where often you will find yourself confused by the fact that a diagnosis you may have once had assigned to you no longer exists. It's complicated at times. Now let me get back in here, see if I can't find... Well, let me at least save. Listen, we don't discuss the mint julep. I'm sure I've talked about the mint julep incident to a number of people watching. But I suppose I've not necessarily told it on stream, at least not that I can recall. So, the joke here is, I suppose, not even strictly speaking a joke so much as an anecdote, rather, about the time I nearly got myself killed. I was at a county fair with my family, and we were at the horse races, and my mother had offered me a mint julep, because she had ordered it. It was not exactly to her liking, a bit strong, and so she asked if I wanted it. Now, me, liking alcohol probably the least of any member of my family, I wanted to be polite. I didn't want to rock the boat, and so I took a sip. It was not to my liking, as I suspected, and I put it aside. About 5 minutes later, I start itching everywhere. I look down at my arms, and they are covered, and I do mean covered, in hives. And I realize, oh, I'm having an allergic reaction. Well, it's pretty mild. I'll be fine. We continue to watch the races, and then we head down to the stables to take a look at the horses for the next race. By the time we get down there, the hives have doubled both in size and number. I am repeatedly poking my face because the skin on my face had grown about a centimeter thicker than I had recalled it being. And my father keeps telling me, Logician, stop poking your face. I keep telling him I have to in order to make sure that I still have feeling in it. And so my mother gave me a Benadryl, and I sat down in one of the beer tents to see if I couldn't just start feeling better. Then the blindness set in. I got complete and total tunnel vision for anywhere between 10 minutes to a half hour, and I'm not sure entirely which it is, because I know for a fact that the only medical staff they had on hand were exclusively meant for the jockeys in the races. But all I do know is that when I came to, I had an oxygen mask over my face, and I was being lifted onto a gurney and wheeled into an ambulance. They took about, I want to say, half a pint of blood out of me and replaced it with twice that amount in steroids, and I ended up passing out, taking a good 2-hour-long nap in the hospital. Now, to this day, no one knows for certain what it was in the drink that triggered the anaphylactic shock, but what we do know is that because of that, I had to carry around an EpiPen for a good number of years. The only reason I stopped carrying around the EpiPen is because I accidentally ran it over with my car. And I have not been able to replace that EpiPen since then. So I guess we're just leaving it up to the fates to decide what comes of that. Yeah, I did notice that the volume was getting a bit louder. I'll go ahead and... How's that sounding? Is the volume manageable at this point? Better? Excellent. Alrighty. Now I need to figure out where that key is. Of course, I could always just head over to where the portal is and come back to this level at another time. Oh, well. Yeah, no, they're really cranking up the volume for this track. I wonder... Actually, sound effects. Let's see. And so that people might have a better chance of hearing the characters. That's always a fun thing to look up, isn't it? How expensive are EpiPens? Well, I suppose there's no stopping you, is there? Now, how is the mixing of the music and sound effects sounding to you at this point? Sounds good? Okay, I will keep it here for the time being. You know what? listen. The both of you need all the money you can get at this point. I'm sure I will be fine on my own for quite a bit in terms of overall self-management. Let's see. It's not in here, is it? You can, but the question is, should you? I mean, the other part of that is I don't drink alcohol nearly enough to, I feel, warrant the EpiPen. What am I looking for? I am looking for the key to a treasure chest that is on this map. It has been quite a number of years since I have played this game, and unfortunately the location of said key currently eludes me. Let's see. Worst comes to worst, all three of you can chip in for one. Well, I suppose this is what I get for recruiting an entire coven of witches. Yes, the keys are quite the source of irritation. Went to the cave down on the beach. Wasn't aware you could access the beach from here. That could be another map, but I do remember hearing seagulls. You jump down by the exit. See, I thought that was sheer cliff face. You know? And this is why it pays to pay attention to chat. Thank you, Aboleth. You have just saved me potential hours of grief. $90. Is there anything else over here? All right. Once again, I think this is why 3D platformers were a major deterrent for me for many years. Just the exploration aspect of it. I'd grown far too accustomed to the linear formula of 2D platformers, a la Super Mario World and Sonic 3. And now, just a quick save. If you want to 100% things, yeah, it's tough, but this is why you were a completionist. That does not surprise me. Now, has anything changed over here? I'm pretty certain there was something to these steps here. Either I had to step on them in a specific order, because I hear the portal over here. Oh! Well, there you go. OG Spiral. Yes. Or OG Spyro if you're speaking English. My apologies. But yes, Grill. We're delving back into the past, Samurai Jack style. Oh my gosh. Okay. Really throwing you into the thick of it out the gate. Yes, that's right. These are the only levels you can actually fly in. Well, there we are. Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see if we can't earn some more time going through these. The tricky part of these levels is that you had to accomplish every single goal before time ran out. And they did not give you too terribly much wiggle room to accomplish it in. So there was a specific set path that you were supposed to try and accomplish these things in. Let's see. Alright, what chaos has been transpiring in the chat? Oh, you were recognized by a YouTuber. Excellent. Reaction channel. Oh, yes. I believe you were telling me about that reactor not too terribly long ago. You can charge on the track. I forgot about that, Absolith. Or Aboleth. My apologies. You know, I am very fortunate to have you in chat right now. I'm not sure if this is much faster than flying, but we'll see. Oh. Well, guess we're here now. Nothing says high fantasy like dogfights with dragons. There's also these things. Ah, yes. I might as well experiment with another number of different approaches. See how they pan out. Alright. Let's try it out here. Let's leave. Oh. Oh, well. That wasn't the run. No, that wasn't your bad. Like, I want to stress, Aboleth, like, I am open to any and all suggestions at this point. Because it has been many, many years since I've played this game. And I am not nearly as knowledgeable about all the intricate secrets as you apparently are. My word. A literal headache. Yes, I can imagine. I'll get that one over there. Something I've learned about these types of games over the years is that you have to have priority targets. I was reminded of that all too important lesson last time when I was playing Star Fox. Getting a good swing of it here. Probably helped a bit by the fact that these controls are more intuitive than Star Fox, but... Ah, my word. There we are. Let's see how many of these I can take down. Oh, well. Not today, it seems. Ah, well. Well, you got most of them. That wasn't a bad run. Let me see. Only other suggestion is going trains first, flying opposite their movement. That is not a bad suggestion. Alright, now let's look into the gates since they're closest. Take off here too. Well, I guess not. Let's give that another shot. think I'll try going for the chests first. Well, really need to work on my aim. Oh boy. Well, right out the gate. Let's see here. Honestly, out of all the games I could have played, I'm surprised this one has been the most stable. Because a lot of the other games I was considering for these streams have given me a lot of trouble setting up. So I'm glad this one is actually working out. And it's rather hilarious considering I was always more of a Nintendo baby than I was a Sony one. Oh boy. Up. Yeah, no, I think you were right about going in the reverse direction on these. Easy to emulate, but used to legally obtain real game copies. However, oh yes, of course, absolutely. We don't promote piracy whatsoever. Now, why would we want to do a thing like that in this day and age where easy accessibility to media we paid for with our own money is becoming increasingly difficult to maintain ownership over? And God forbid the people would want to take back some semblance of power over the things they've actually invested time, money, and energy into. Your heart fiddle-dee-dee. Can you tell that I'm a very opinionated person? I wasn't sure if I'd made that abundantly clear by now. California is looking into laws for digital game and media ownership. I apologize for not being able to look at the chat too terribly long while I'm playing, but if that is in fact the case, that is at least a modicum of good news when it comes to the ongoing issue of digital media ownership and the death of media that we do, in fact, invest our money into. Alright, now comes the rush of trying to get these fuckers. Ah. Digital games and changing terminology from buy to leasing when purchasing a game. Oh. Well, that was not nearly as fortuitous a bit of news as I was hoping. I mean, I suppose they are at least changing the terminology involved. Now, if they could do something about the fact that games companies are essentially cheating audiences, that'd be even better news. I will say, if any of you want to follow up on a steady stream of news regarding digital media ownership and dead games, I highly recommend following Ross Scott. He is the creator of the famous Freeman's Mind series of Half-Life Machinimas, and he has a steady stream of videos called Dead Games News, in which he follows the progression of ownership laws and other finer details relating to this topic. Oh, God, well. I think this is a dead run. Yeah. The sound effects are what's getting me. Alright, now. Back to you. Ah, dang it. Once again, a dead run, but again, I'm getting into the flow of things, if nothing else. I certainly hope so. It would be beneficial for future streams, if nothing else, because I'd like to explore the other Spyro games. I mean, I'm pretty sure Spyro will be taking care of that more line. How did I miss that? Oh. Alright. Yeah, I'm sure this is what all of you were looking forward to the most this Saturday evening. Watching me practicing tedium via 90s gaming. You know, I'm relatively certain it's mini games like these that birthed the likes of speedrunners. Just people trying to find the ideal path towards the solution to any... Oh. I mean, I got there in the end. The issue is, how do I get out of this tunnel system? Ah, my word. Alright. Well, don't have a lot of time to work with, but I'll do what I can. More selective with my blasts. All the music in Spyro is made needs Stuart Copeland, percussionist for the Police. You know, that absolutely tracks, all things considered. The history of games music is... a fascinating one, to be certain. A number of months ago, I was actually on a podcast run by some friends, running the Hill is Always Greener podcast, featuring a number of friends of mine who specialize in the topic of all things related to Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was brought on to help them discuss the history of the soundtrack to the games. At least pertaining to the first couple of games. As I was actually a professional musician for 7 years, which is not something I talk about all that frequently. At least I'd like to hope I'm not that much of a broken record. But it was a fascinating discussion with them. You can find it on, I believe, it's specifically hosted on Cyberlink 420's channel. Either his home channel or the channel for his Sonic F series, which is essentially an abridged series of Sonic X. You know, I normally don't consider myself a completionist, but at this point, it's a matter of spite. There we are. The belief is much appreciated. I wish I could relate. Oh. I suppose prioritization is not my strong suit, at least when it comes to these games. I think I've got a good enough idea at the very least. What path? Maybe there's a different order. It is entirely possible. I think I've already botched this run, though. There we go. After this one, hydrate. That's not the worst idea. Remember, kids, even in the autumn months, hydrate or dihydrate. I'm cutting it close with a lot of these turns. Alright, let's see here. Now that. Might as well start prioritizing this. I can always come back to the trains. These ones take the longest, and This one is the one that always gets me. Yeah, it does always strike me as hilarious how the script is flipped over there in New Zealand, Gaelic, when it comes to the weather. Nothing else, I appreciate the fact that you don't have to blow fire twice in order to get those barrels. We've had a number of nice days over here as well, Aboleth. I'm hoping that we have seen the last of the boys of summer, as it were. I'll never understand people who prefer warmer weather. Not that I have anything inherently against them, just we are not compatible in our preferences. That is all I will say. I think I get desperate with the planes, and that's what gets me every time. Oh, well. There we go. I mean... Once again, if nothing else, let spite drive you. Now I'm gonna try taking care of this one first, since it takes the longest. And maybe I can pick off a few planes in the process. This may not have been the way. Ah well, again, we're experimenting. I think the way I've been doing it is probably the ideal. Once it gets over 70 degrees. See, honestly, anything over 65 degrees is what starts to do it for me. I just cannot. only we took a page out of Star Fox and had a boost button. Or at the very least, bumped the time bonus up to 5 instead of 3. Comments on the silly Nintendo lawsuit. I'm on the fence on it. Because, yes, in terms of the overall aesthetics, Pal World was clearly, I mean, to put it politely, taking inspiration from Pokemon. Like, they blatantly just stole a bunch of models from Pokemon and tweaked them a little bit until they were not the Pokemon. Like, that I don't think there's any arguing. Like, there's no way you can look at anything in terms of the overall monster designs, oh God, and say that they didn't rip off Pokemon. That I definitely agree with on Nintendo's front. However, in terms of the mechanics, yes, you capture Pokemon, or pals. See, again, it's just hard to separate the two. But they also turned it into essentially a Fortnite skin. So do I think Nintendo has grounds for the lawsuit? Absolutely. Am I ever going to take the side full-bodied with a large corporation? Not necessarily, unless there's actual grounds to, because let's face it, Nintendo has enough money as it is, and they're not spending it in the right places. Well, another thing to keep in mind regarding the whole Pal World incident is that previously, the people who made Pal World made an egregious ripoff of Breath of the Wild. And there was no... God damn it. There was no hiding that they were blatantly ripping off Breath of the Wild with that game. So this isn't exactly a one-off thing for them. Once again, it's kind of hilarious that regardless of whether or not I'm playing a Sony game, it all comes back to Nintendo, which, again, makes sense considering that was what I was predominantly raised on. So you can imagine my surprise when there are certain ports of certain games involving certain blue hedgehogs that were apparently notably worse than the originals on the Genesis and the like. Maybe not the Genesis, I don't know. Sega consoles. And it wouldn't be until decades later that I realized, oh, the reason these suck is because the ports themselves were done poorly. Granted, I have my own comments on those inherent qualities of those games to begin with, but doing a little better this time. desperate. Oh. Ah. I was close. I was close. I think after I complete this level, if I complete this level, I might need to take a break. Fortunate side effect of having a lovely caffeine withdrawal headache when you're streaming is that it makes things notably more difficult to concentrate on. If I had a Kit Kat, I just might. Honestly, I was always more of a Twix guy than a Kit Kat guy. I suppose this brings up yet another question, now that we're in the days creeping up towards October. What was your favorite Halloween candy, if you ever celebrated Halloween growing up? Apple, you know me well enough to know that I'm always left-leaning. For me, I would say, in terms of Halloween candy specifically, it was a toss-up between Butterfinger and the Hershey's Cookies and Cream. Oh! Okay. Try again. Fuck no. Cadbury cream eggs. That is an excellent choice. Seasonal specialties be damned. Toblerone? Completely valid. I am just sorry that Will Smith's son may have ruined that candy bar's reputation for you. Save game. Excellent. I think I am going to take a brief break, get myself something to drink, and I will be back momentarily.
It's intermission time, folks, so hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies, everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 10 minutes.
What is it?
Say, what is it? Hey, why, it's Buttercup. Popcorn, add sweet cream butter to hot popcorn. Mix it up, wrap it up, Buttercup is born.
It's delicious.
So nutritious.
It's a taste delight.
It's so munchy,
crisp and crunchy.
You'll enjoy each bite. Eat butter-drenched Buttercup popcorn at its best.
Served in a king-size cup.
It beats all the rest.
starts in 9 minutes.
Oh, I float through the air with the greatest of ease, with or without the flying trapeze. My act is so great gravity I defy, 'cause I drink T-O-D-D-Y.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can.
Get it, everybody. It's time to drink your chocolate toddy.
Mmm, delicious.
The show starts in 8 minutes.
Witness the takeoff of the first manned rocket to outer space. We pick up the count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We're off to visit the planets. There are treats galore in the stars. Venus is loaded with candy, and ice cream is found upon Mars. The soda pop's fizzing on Saturn. When you're thirsty, it sure hits the spot. And Jupiter's really jumping with popcorn that's buttered and hot. But the best of them all is the planet, where all of these treats are at hand. And that is the spot we now head for, our theater refreshment stand.
Well, you see what I get from the refreshment counter. Oh boy, popcorn and candy bars and ice cream and oh boy, sparkling ice-cold Coca-Cola. Oh boy, that tastes good. Have you been to the refreshment counter?
Remember, your favorite snack will taste especially good with world-famous ice-cold Coca-Cola.
The show starts in 7 minutes.
With mustard and relish, you'll guarantee mouth-watering satisfaction. And now he sips his costume on a beautiful golden bun. There's his cue to go out on stage.
He's the natural.
He's the rage. Meet this personality at our refreshment counter. Treat the family.
Something different for a change? Then try the perfect refreshment. Chili Dilly, a delicious pickle treat that's spiced just right for every bite. Economical, too. There's no waste. You eat every bit of the juicy goodness of...
Okay, thank you all for your patience. I have got myself on... good God, I guess I am tired. I've gotten my hands on a can of caffeine thanks to a generous donation by my roommate and Lorelei. And hopefully this should address the issue of the lack of caffeine in my system. Pretty certain I've gotten most of the treasure on this map. You know, you're certainly a mood friend. Oh. Because I hadn't gotten all the treasure on this map. Wonder if there is any treasure here. Did I miss anything? You did have a generous bounty to share, and I am very much appreciative of it. Oh. Well, how did I miss this? Probably the aforementioned headache, but... no.
Hey, Spyro! Press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
Let's see here. Honestly, I don't think I would ever go on to see a game with similar aesthetics to these until, I don't know, Wizard 101 or other games that were trying to capitalize specifically on the aesthetic of the brightly colored, kid-friendly high fantasy stories my generation grew up with. Can't say I ever played Wizard 101, but I had heard stories. Good God. I think that caffeine actually is already starting to help. Thank you again, Lorelai. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, damn it. Imaginext night sets. We are, and I believe that is all the treasure on this map. Now, it's time for the final world of this particular set of worlds. First, I should probably save, though. Knowing my ass, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Might have also been dehydration. That is entirely possible. $700 total. Oh gosh, that's right. I think I'm good in terms of overall health for now. I hear an extra life up there. I have to shimmy my way up this way. Sock it to me, Nils.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the L2 and R2 buttons to get a good look.
Once again, you don't really get this degree of exposition with game controls these days with most modern games. I think 3D games were still a relatively new concept for a lot of kids. Whereas these days, in the era of iPad babies and the like, a lot of this might come across as just more intuitive than it was for my generation. Oh god, I remember these. Yeah, you had to jump and catch that gem as it was popping out of the box. There's that extra life. Thankfully, I haven't had to lose any lives yet. Had to lose as if it's a requirement.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Oh, did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing X at the very top of your jump?
There we are. Oh god, there he is. I'm sure you can hear him. There he is. You know, for some people, there are distinctly cursed sounds in gaming that invoke a very special level of PTSD. For some, it's the sound of a very specific set of notes on the piano in the Gen 4 Pokemon games. For me, it's that fucking nana nana boo boo ass laughter.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run! Run! I'm getting a little winded.
You know, you get lines like that in gaming where you can't help but wonder, was that actually part of the script? I like to think that a lot of the most memorable aspects of some of those types of lines in games were just ad-libbed. Let's see here. Where are you? You're around here somewhere. Well, shit. Thank you for taking care of that bot. I appreciate it. Oh, he's up there. I wonder. Maybe. Might need to get a bit higher. Can you take me higher? Is it bad that sometimes the simplest way to, like, do an impression of someone is pretend like you've got a mouthful of shit? There we go. Fetus deletus. That's some hazardous placement for those charging chests. again, that was probably the point. Oh, you know. Once again, aim is getting better! Anything else right here? I think that's probably gonna be...
Thank you for releasing me.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get the occasional dragon who has little more to say than that. Not as creative as their peers, but, you know. Alright, so... I'm guessing I must have missed a gem or two. Somewhere. You know, that probably is how that's spelled, all things considered. I imagine there has to be at least 2 red gems or something. Like maybe 1 green gem that I missed along the way. Oh, yes. Let's see. Oh. You know? Single green gem. There we are. Okay. Oh, that was a sudden shift in perspective I didn't expect. Now, I don't know if it's 900 or 1,000 treasure on this map. All I know for certain is that I'm pretty sure I accomplished everything on Stone Hill. There might be 100 gems for me in here. Toasty, that was the name of this boss. Okay. Dogs took 2 hits. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, I think I need a sheep or so. Splat, yep. To be fair, I think all of us know at least one or two dogs are prone to going splat.
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. This boss has many tricks up his sleeve.
Like, they even call them bosses in game. I think the last time I heard anyone do that was in Undertale. And Undertale is one of those, like, notably, oh gosh, self-aware games. Oh, thank you for that. And this is why I collected a bunch of lives. There we go. I mean, at the very least, I am in fact back to full health. Let's see here. Did anything out here respawn? Don't think so. Alright. Now let me make my way uptown, walking slow, ad-libbing poorly, going with the flow. You wouldn't know it, but I'm not, in fact, a mumble rap artist. I know. Swing and a miss. Why? You know, I'm not sure why my brain decided to forget my left from my right in terms of button arrangement. But here we are. That's right, they had a very interesting approach to handling bosses in this game. Alright. And then there was fun. Alright, and here we are. 1,000 treasure in the Artisan Worlds. Why they decided specifically to call the sheep hiding inside of a scarecrow toasty is admittedly beyond me, but hey. It was a different time. And now, Toasty, your legions will pay for your avarice, I suppose. Not avarice, what am I talking about? It's late, I'm tired. Caffeine's starting to finally hit. My god, how long have we been going? Let's see. 2 hours? It's not too terribly bad. Wow, I see you have been busy rescuing dragons, Spyro. You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like. I mean, I've accomplished all I can here. Oh, did I back out? I am confused. Oh, okay. Peacekeepers. There we go. It's been a night, I suppose. Oh, God, I recognize this music immediately. Damn hut!
Welcome to Peacekeeper, Spyro. Look how our treasure has been turned against us and stolen. Recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
Once again, hi, Clancy Brown. I think this is probably a good place to end for the evening. I accomplished everything I wanted to. Oh yeah, no, Clancy Brown has shown up in a number of places as voices, as has Tom Kenny, and I'm sure as I play on, I'll recognize more and more. But, with all that said, I think this is probably a good place to end for this evening. You know, I didn't expect to get this far, but hey, what can you say? Sometimes I amaze myself, for better or for worse. But I digress. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in this evening. For those of you who gave invaluable advice as to how to get through the levels, I cannot thank you enough. For those of you who contributed caffeine, that was a lifesaver and a half. Thank you so very much for taking away the pain, even if momentarily. I'll probably be streaming again next Friday evening. Whether that will be a continuation of my Soul Link with Gaelic Nox or something else, we will have to figure out schedule-wise. I'm still a little iffy on some of those details, but regardless, you can expect to see me again next Friday, next Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday for those of you living in New Zealand. Once again, time is a lie. We're all hurtling through space towards our own inevitable demise. In the interim, Thank you very much for your time. Have a good time, and always remember to fucking think.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. The management of this drive-in theater is happy to announce you can enjoy your favorite form of movie entertainment regardless of rain. No longer will it be necessary to let rain spoil your fun. Now you can keep your windshield clear and dry with a drizzle guard. Simply attach it to your windshield, and in a jiffy you're enjoying the movie without constantly running your windshield wipers. A drizzle guard will save you gasoline and wear and tear on your battery. After the show is over, all you do is take off your drizzle guard, roll it up, and it's